Yo, welcome to another episode of the Larry O Show. Got my co-host to the left of me,
Hey,
as always.
John Phelps.
I'm Larry O. It's a podcast and a show where we talk about everything music production related, especially FL Studio. Today, we have some really big news. We're also going to be getting into some voicemails today. Here's the phone number for that voicemail. If you want to leave a voicemail, leave a comment, concern, question, drop it in the voicemail. You might end up on the show. Without further ado, we got some pretty big FL Studio 25 news. So it's still in beta. FL Studio 25 Beta 4 is out now. First of all, I want to address a bunch of people online are like, FL 25, super underwhelming. This update's whack. It's whack. And mind you, this was when Beta 1 dropped. Or it was just like a teaser of what of 25 in general.
Well, people don't know that it's beta. They don't understand what beta means.
And they don't understand how FL Studio has been working with these updates for the past who knows how many years. And they never drop every single feature in the first round of beta or whatever. Sometimes I've seen it almost like right up until the last version of beta. There's been new features, so you got to be patient. And I've been saying it. I hate to say I told you so, but we have a big update in FL Studio 25 Beta 4. We have a mastering plugin. It's called Emphasis. It's in the All Plugins edition. If you click on this, here's what it looks like. Does this remind you of this? Remember when
I was going to say it reminds me of Maximus a little bit.
I think they might use a little bit of Maximus.
But this is cool.
Do you remember this thing that came out? This
Yeah.
blurred image. We're like, yo, what the hell can this be? Maybe it's a dynamic EQ. Now, it does look different though, right? Is this the same thing that we're seeing now, or is it a way newer version before they started adding more features to the plugin? Because you have mid-side, you got this out knob, you got true peak. When you look at the full kind of finished version of Emphasis, you have that. You got true peak here. You got the mid-side stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that's what that was. That's what they were teasing. It has to be. Like, what else would it be?
Yeah. Emphasis causes excitement. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's saying.
Yep. So I have FL Studio open. We can just get right into it and see what it sounds like. You right? So on this master of the song that we did on the pod, this is all we have on this laptop here anyway, but it's still a banger. I can do some mastering. E, F, where you at? Emphasis limiter. Don't get this confused with being like a one plugin does all mastering kind of thing. When I first saw this, I was like, ooh, is that what it is? But then I'm like, what about the AI mastering that they did? I mean, they're giving us options anyways, right? But still, it's just meant to be a limiter. If you want a quick rundown of it, Emphasis is a multi-stage single-band mastering limiter designed for timbral and loudness enhancement while sounding transparent and staying true to the original dynamics profile. At the heart of the processor are two independent limiting stages, one for crystal clear gain reduction, the other providing wave shaping with arbitrary characteristics. Oh, see? Maximus. We got Maximus, Sound Goodizer, Fruity Limiter, and Fruity Compressor. So I think they're using elements of all those plugins and kind of combining them.
All right.
So it's cool to kind of break it down like that, to actually read for once. A lot of times I see this, I'm like, ooh, new toy. I just upload it, and I'm like, I don't understand it really.
Get ready. Yeah.
But it gives a full breakdown. So they have LUFS control. So if you ever, confused as to what the hell LUFS is, it gives you an explanation of what LUFS is, and that it tells you that Emphasis also will give you a LUFS meter. And there's these different parameters here: integrated, short-term, momentary, and range.
What's love got to do?
To be honest, bro, like I've always just been like a believer in, what does LUFS got to do with it? Because I just make my song loud and I upload it. You know what I mean? And I put it out to the world. I don't worry about LUFS that much, but I'm also not mixing and mastering for Taylor Swift. So it's like I don't have to really worry about that kind of thing. And I think most bedroom producers really are not paying attention.
Make that shit loud, bro.
Yep. But if you're gonna pay attention to it and want to start understanding it, all the information is right here. It's got the mid-side processing, which is really cool. It gives you a diagram of the signal flow.
Yeah, so you can really get into it.
Yeah. And what's cool is, I don't know if I've just not noticed this before. They give plugin credits down here, and I don't know if I've just never noticed it before or what. Kind of crazy, huh? We got it on the master of this beat. Right now, I'm just gonna mute it. All right, turn the metronome off. Probably gonna be clipping like a crazy man.
The good with the bad, cause it came nonetheless. Whatever you saying, gotta say it with your chest. Don't pray for what you want, be grateful what you have. Cause sometimes doing less is doing what you can. Maintaining, made all the naysayers hate.
All right, I'm gonna throw that on the master. What I'm missing right now is I know they're gonna have it. They're gonna have that list of presets. once that comes, that's gonna be my shit right there. I'm a preset and tweak kind of guy.
Okay.
So this is just how hot your input's coming in.
The good with the bad.
Like right now, I don't even think I'd have to touch that because it's already like limiting a little bit, and it's not too much where I have to pull the original beat down so far.
The good with the bad, cause it came.
But you have, what do they call them? Like 4 different styles of emphasis, right? They got versatile, loud, which is, you know, you want your shit to slap crazy loud. Choose that one. Transient, which is going to be a little bit more smoother on the transients. So it's not going to go so hard. And then you got steady, which is kind of like an in-between kind of thing. And then you got, this only turns on when you have the transient on. So I'm assuming that this is just emphasis amount on the transient.
Good with the bad, cause it came nonetheless. Whatever you saying,
See how it
gotta
just
say it with your chest. Don't pray for.
See how like it went from being, oh, pause it. Oh, if you click it, you can pause it so you can see the difference. So see like over here, it's like,
yeah,
our overall level is a lot higher than it is over here. Just kind of dipped it down a little bit. And then that would be all the way up. Then you got the envelope is how much it's going to open up the envelope on that peak right here. See these like little peaks? And then how hard it is, so how much it's doing. Essentially, the way I was thinking of it is like in compression terms, it's kind of like threshold ratio, release, attack, essentially, right? That's what I get from it. And then you got some mid-side stuff going on here with this linking knob. So it's going to affect the mid and side. This Delta one's pretty cool because you can hear, and I remember this going back to when Frank Pohl was on, and he put this like in a plugin. Some plugins do it, but you turn this Delta on and you can hear the clipping. So it takes everything away, but you only hear what it's taking away from the master. So like, I think I might have had it on versatile. Oh, I had a pause. So it's showing you like what it's clipping out.
Yeah.
It's almost like a reverse bypass in a way, right? Then you got your normal bypass, and then the loudness compensation, and it's gonna match your input level. So if you use this, it's gonna match that level of input. So essentially, like if your input's coming in at, I don't know, -1 or something like that, right? Or -5, whatever it is, it's going to match that on the back end. True peak limiting in compliance with the EBUR 128 standard. I don't know what the hell that is.
Okay.
All right.
I'll fuck with you.
But I mean, nonetheless, we got a new plugin, a new mastering plugin, and I think that's what they were hitting at a while back. So I'm excited to use it. I'm really more excited to use the presets more than anything. Like I want to mess around with the presets. I think this might be my new combination for like beats. Whereas I was doing soft clipper limiter. I might do soft clipper in this now. Soft clipper emphasis now. Because I think it just, from messing around just a little bit, it's given a cleaner like limiting.
Okay. Hell yeah.
I'm liking it. You want to get into some voicemails?
Yeah. Let's definitely do it.
This one is funny. Just everything about this entire voicemail, bro, is hilarious.
This is Numbnuts99. Larry O, I just want to thank you for dropping the best fucking sound kit for every producer and just being a big inspiration and teaching all of us everything you know. You got me.
So first of all, let's go back. Thank you, Numbnuts99.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I don't drop a lot of sound kits, first of all. So I don't know.
This is
But the name, Numbnuts99, I don't know if this is a troll or what.
This is Numbnuts99.
It definitely is.
It's gonna be a troll.
The way he said that, I knew he wanted to laugh. Like,
and then at the end, he says, "You got me."
You got me.
You got me.
Shout out to Numbnuts99.
Wherever you may be.
Yep. Let's go to this one in Minnesota.
Larry O, what's good? All the way from Minnesota, man. I'm watching you right now. Hey, I appreciate the tips, man. I've been on Fruity Loops for just as long as you have, bro, and I'm still learning. So, yeah, man, good shit. Man, it's Anthony again from Minnesota. My bad. I forgot to shout out Mr. Phelps. Boy, you too cool.
Hey, man. Appreciate you.
Anthony from Minnesota. Shout out you.
Shouts out to Ant.
Yo, Larry O. I get you. And this is Mr. TBJ.
Mr. What?
I wanted
TBJ?
to ask Jay, get you.
Stevie
And
J.
this is Mr. TBJ.
TBJ?
I wanted to ask you about in FL, whenever you're in the piano roll, so Ableton just came out with this where you can do full-blown automation through just one MIDI note or a whole progression of notes in the piano roll. And
You know what he means by that?
you just like, you can slide it back and forth and get that like, wow, like it's a crazy automation
Like a
technique
slide?
that Ableton.
That's what I'm thinking. He's talking about one MIDI note, automation in one MIDI note.
Well, yeah, it's probably some sort of automation that does. It sounds like he's describing like a pitch automation that you can just like, you know how in FL you'll do it to like the whole track, but he might be able to say like on one chord or one note you can automate the pitch of that, like that chord right up in the MIDI print.
Ooh.
The MIDI.
Okay.
Like the pitch bend knob.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
like on one note though.
Yeah.
One
So
note,
that's how
one
you usually
chord.
do. Like, let's say you hit the bass and you go, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So-
you could automate the bend to go down.
Right.
Yeah, but maybe not even a slide. I think he might be talking about like making it wobble like a certain way, right?
The
Like
clo-
making
the closest thing that I
bend
think
you
we
could
got-
do that because even with guitars, people do that, like playing MIDI on guitars.
Yeah.
You get a more real feel when you play with the
Yeah.
with the pitch knob.
Vibrato, right?
I think the closest thing that we got for like an automation like that in FL, like in the piano roll, is if you're it wouldn't be automation, but it's that, you know, that pitch bend trick that like
Yeah.
you make one of the notes slide. But that's dope if you could go up in there and like automate the pitch somewhere up in here. But
Yeah, so you got the slide.
I'm pretty sure
that's one of the rare
FL could
cases
do
where
that.
Ableton
Well,
got
right
us
here,
beat.
bro. Right here. You can't automate that though. So right now I'm clicking on just this one note, right? So this is we get this property window just for this one note.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pan, but you can't automate that pitch knob. I can mess with that pitch knob. Or maybe what if I mess with this? Hold on. Ready? What if I mess with this, X out, but then go to macros? No, go to last tweaked and then create an automation clip on the last tweaked. Is that pitch knob? Nope. It doesn't even recognize
in the
it.
piano roll on the bottom where you see the controls.
Yep.
There should be like a pitch.
Yeah, nope, pitch.
And
Nope.
then you take the draw tool and draw it in.
That would be channel pitch. So you draw it in like this. But that's going to be, if it's a stack of chords, it's going to be on the whole stack of chords. It's not going to be, so if there's 3 notes hitting at the same time, it's going to do it on all 3 notes. So I'm thinking, how do you do it on just, by the way he's explaining it, I'm thinking like he's thinking about it being one note. And the only thing I can think of is, like you said, is if you do the slide, but that's all that's doing is just sliding
one.
up or down
Yeah.
to a note above or a note below it. So
Yeah.
that's not even the complete same thing he might be talking about.
The only thing I can think of is if you like put one note that you slide up to, then one note that you slide down to do that. But that's the like
Then you gotta, yeah.
again, that's you know, this is a rare instance of Ableton actually, you know, doing something better than
Yeah.
FL.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, there are things like that.
Slight dig.
No, there are some things like that
There's a
that
few.
Ableton does
No,
do a little bit better.
because Ableton, they're all about that detail.
And there might be a way
like
that I'm just not thinking about doing
detail.
it.
Because you could do it in Cubase. I think you could do it in FL. I think if you highlight just the one note you want to happen on, because that's how it is in Cubase, and it looks the same.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. You might be right, bro.
Oh,
Oh, I think you just solved it, Mark. So I highlighted the one note, but I can't tell if it's doing.
no,
that.
yeah, it's just the one.
Is it just
It's
doing?
definitely just the one because I've done that before where I've highlighted whatever ones that I want to do, like
All right,
control
now let me
effects too.
let me do it and see if there's a difference here. Because now it's on. Now I didn't
Now it's on
highlight
all of them. Yeah, that's all of them.
Yeah. Merc, you just solved it. I didn't think about it working like that in the channel drawing version of it. But I have done that. I have done that with like the note. There, so in that bottom menu that you're talking about, there's note panning, note velocity, note pitch, and then there's channel panning, channel volume, channel pitch. And the difference is drawing, or you just get the levels that you can put up or down. So the notes are the ones that you can just put up or down, and the channel is the one that you can draw. So I've never done it on the channel side of things with drawing, but that's it right there. So
yeah,
TBJ, I think is his name.
Ableton just dropped, and I was wondering if there's some sort of a similar technique in
Yes, there
FL
is.
that you can use. If you get me, please answer this question, my friend. Have a great, great, great day.
Yo, thank you. TBJ, shout out TBJ. If you're listening, you're watching. That was a good one.
that was a good one.
Stumped us for a little bit, but I think we figured it out. We put 3 producer minds together and we figured it out. And one of them isn't even an FL user. We figured it out. Splice bought Spitfire. So if you're not familiar, are you familiar with Spitfire audio?
Nah,
So it's a big, well, first of all, if you're not familiar with it, I'll show you.
Spitfire.
Spitfire audio. They have, from what I've known from them, is mostly plugins. But I'm guessing now they're doing a whole bunch of other stuff sample wise. So my idea of this purchase is Splice is trying to just get as many samples as they possibly can get. But if you go to spitfireaudio.com, you can see what they're about. A lot of real instrumentation.
Dude,
plugins.
who is this?
I don't know,
Uncle
man.
Ripskin. Yo.
Damn, that's an 85 string guitar.
Hey, yo.
What is that? A
That's
mandolin?
the string master.
What is that? A mandolin?
Is that what's his name? Gustavo Santolaya?
I don't know.
Shouts out, bro.
But he's probably got the craziest. Listen to the
Bing,
demo.
ding, ding, ding.
I knew it was gonna sound like that.
I'm pulling up, dude.
Sample that. Ooh, you gotta sample that, bro.
Yeah, that's heat.
They might be onto something with this purchase. Like, look at that. I've always known Spitfire as being like super, super high quality. Look at orchestral stuff. Abbey Road Orchestra.
Dang.
Yeah, epic. Like epic. Sheesh.
Hey, yo.
It's
That's sick.
no, I don't want that. Whatever that is.
Nah, just download all that, bro. Just click.
All right. So from Attack Magazine,
Click every
they
pop
talk about the Splice acquisition of Spitfire Audio. Just to run down for $50 million, bro.
Dang.
So Splice, have you heard about this, Merc? Splice brought Spitfire Audio for $50 million. A leading music creation platform has agreed to acquire the acclaimed orchestral sound studio Spitfire Audio for approximately $50 million, as reported in the Financial Times. According to the announcement on Spitfire's site, Splice is seeking to integrate high-quality, royalty-free samples and cutting-edge technology to revolutionize how music is made, particularly with the use of artificial intelligence. AI, a major part of the conversation. Splice has been developing AI-powered tools such as Splice Create, where users can build stacks based on genre, mood. What are they doing? They pulling a Suno or what? What do you
Stacks with the stack thing?
With this Splice Create.
Well,
so now Splice has created an AI-powered tool.
Well, so the stacks thing, I think from what I limited exposure gained from it was that it doesn't print stuff, but it has 5 different elements.
What's stacks?
I think it's 5 different elements to build a sample, an A part.
Yeah.
And you start with one sample and then you say all right, I want to use Splice Create to basically automatically aggregate 4 other elements that would sound good together. It doesn't print it into one thing and bake it in for you.
Okay.
But it's these 5 things definitely go together and you can pick and choose what 3 you might like. I think that's it. I don't
That's
use Splice,
exactly what it is.
That is what it is?
So
I've
what
never
it
messed
does,
with it.
You hit stack and it'll give you a bass, guitar. It'll give you 5 to 6 different elements
That go
that are
together.
in the same key, the tempo, pretty much like a
yeah.
starting point. And if
Thought
you
so.
don't like the bass, you click next and it looks for another bass for you.
Right.
Okay. So that's what they've been doing. I haven't been, I mean, I got FL Cloud, so I don't need Splice at all.
Yeah, I
so I
haven't
don't
used
mess with
Splice
it.
in a minute.
I just see like certain things like this. I stumbled across this today and was like, because I've always heard Splice is like in so much debt and they're, you know,
I mean,
but
yeah,
they're
they-
always in top conversations. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
But now they're buying another company for 50 million. But
That's why they're in debt.
I know.
No.
But they're acquiring these libraries of sounds
Yeah.
to
yeah.
then probably train more of their AI on as well. Because
Yeah,
now
for
when you
sure.
buy Spitfire audio, so now you got to think of it like this: like, yeah, they want the catalog, right, to integrate into Splice. Of course, they want that. But I think what they want more than anything, knowing that Spitfire audio is real musicians make these samples.
Right.
Now you can train your AI off of these humanly made samples because now you own all of it. So now you can't get in trouble
Yeah.
for making what is it called? We went through those AI conversations. Now you can't get in trouble for the
Intellectual property
yeah,
stuff.
the
It
IP
might be
stuff.
might be like a better look for them too if they can just like privately contract out artists and like pivot away from doing like the crowdsourced sort of sample base and more of just like, nah, these are the people
Yeah.
we're gonna let handle all these and we're just gonna have them like we're gonna start building, you know, our AI off of like these artists that we contract out as opposed to what it was before, which is like. From what I gather with Splice, it was like a lot of people could just have their stuff on Splice. Like,
Yeah,
I think that was kind of like the vibe of
I
it.
think so. I don't know how they work it really.
I think it was relationship based. Like you would have to like be like, oh yeah, welcome to Splice. We want to do a deal, but it was a lot more people. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not like that hip to the way.
But that's cool. I
Splice
mean,
works.
that classical guitar sounded pretty crazy. I would definitely fuck with that. I definitely am.
I have a
the
couple of
idea
Spitfire plugins and they're good.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good. But that's interesting. That they would maybe they just fish around and see who bites on an offer. Maybe they just go around to a bunch of different libraries and companies, sample pack companies and plugin companies, and see like who's kind of willing to sell.
Mm.
Because I think that's their goal. Is like, it seems that's what FL's doing. That's what ImageLine is doing with Cloud.
Mm.
They're going around and they're acquiring these companies, are making deals with these other companies like MSX Audio, UVI, WA Production, all these companies. Excuse me, all these companies that have tons and tons of libraries on samples.
Mm.
But yeah,
Okay.
that was there was another sample route. Oh yeah, this thing.
What is Unk status?
Oh, I was saving that for another. It was just like a random thought. We can get into it if you want. Like this. It's such a random thought.
Yeah.
It was a random thought I put. I was like, it might be good to talk about on the pod. Like I feel like I'm at that unk status.
Unk status.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm at the age anyway, but I am still.
Got the white New Balances on. out
Fanny
at the
pack,
grill. Yeah.
fanny pack on the front where it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Well, yo, I think if people laugh at that unk status, oh yeah, unk, blah blah blah, like, you know, out of touch, unk status, blah blah blah. But I think you got to be still like hip to what's current, what's new, sound wise. But I can't help but think everybody at a certain age is going to enter that status no matter what. No matter what,
yeah.
you're gonna think. And this is what really got me thinking, because I'm listening to music like from when I was in high school, and I'm like, bro, this is like there's nothing like this music. And I'm watching all these older like producers now do stuff with Don Cannon, bro, and his Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The Tomorrow brand is insane. It's like right up my alley. I'm like, this is the stuff that I grew up on. They're doing beat breakdowns with all of these producers now. Don Cannon's doing them. He's like hosting it. And they're so fire, bro. So now, and that got me thinking, I'm like, damn, like there's really no music like this. And sometimes I see like the younger generation really loving that style of music too. So maybe I am right, or is it or is it me saying, yeah, back in my day, the music was way better than it is today. But I love music that comes out today too.
Yeah.
But a lot of it does sound the same.
I mean, I think there's definitely elements of truth where like, yeah, like you had to work a lot harder to create music back in the day. And so people were a lot more intentional. Like for instance, like you couldn't just like sit in your room and freestyle and like punch in every single bar.
Right.
You had to like save up money to go to a studio maybe one day a week when you could afford to, and you had to know your fucking verse. You had to like, oh, the beat, I got to make the beat hit harder. Like there was a little bit more intention, I feel like, before people could just record themselves in their crib.
Right.
Which is what I do. But I'm from both walks of life. Like I used to be in the studio like after school, sometimes before school. My homie had his recording studio set up in his crib, spent mad hours doing all that, like learning all that stuff, like real studio rat sessions. So I come from both worlds where like, and on the same side, going to my homies in like Atlanta that did have just their shit in the basement somewhere, and you would record like that, like multiple schools of thought. But I think like, yeah, the music did sound better because there was so much more work that people had to put in. And on top of that, like we don't know what albums are like as good as some classic hip hop albums. Like we don't know. And I don't think there are artists that have created another album as fire as like 36 Chambers.
Yeah.
I don't think there is an artist that's done that. Made for Cuban Links, I don't think there's another artist that's made a better album than that.
There's just certain things that, and there's a sort of like nostalgia too. I think that kids right now, when they get older, there's going to be certain songs from their era, which is right now, that are going to bring back that nostalgic feeling to them.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that is not going to stick for sure.
Oh, I mean, there's even more nowadays, like you said, because it's so much easier to create.
So much
music.
easier.
And
There's like
the
so
output
little,
is
there's,
crazy.
there's so low barrier to entry for it. You know what I mean? Which I think is a great thing, that people are able to be more creative, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the art is going to be better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because something's newer is not going to make it like better at all. Like at all.
Because, and then you still have these timeless songs. The thing is that there was a lot of timeless songs. And is timeless a subjective term? I don't think so, because if you still go to like any club, at some point they're playing some 2000 shit. At some point, because that's a young crowd, older crowd, they're gonna know it, and it gets people moving, it gets people vibing a certain way, feeling a certain way. At some point, there's gonna be some 2000 stuff playing.
Yeah,
and it's just an era where there was a ton of timeless music,
right?
A ton of it. There is some now. And it's also at the time right now where we don't know if if a song is that timeless. We'll see if it stands the test of time. You know?
For sure. Because there's fire stuff out every single day. You know what I mean? But like only time will tell like what's gonna stick around, because I don't know. I feel like people don't have the same motives like making art a lot of times now. Like I think with all the AI and the corporate sort of like influence that you're getting with music nowadays, like people are super aware of like how music is used as like a product to like market to people. Whereas like it's kind of always been that way, where you had like the label heads and being like, oh yeah, this is what we're going to use to sell Pepsi. But like now artists are on that time too. Like a lot of artists will be on that time where they're immediately like, they're creating songs for the TikTok moments, for the viral moments. And like there's like to each their own and all that, but like you're basically making all the music that came around the same time as when the Beatles popped off.
Yeah.
And all the people that jumped on board because they were like, oh, that's how they're playing. They got those kinds of guitars and those kinds of haircuts. Let's do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I mean, I'd say like being Unk status is natural.
It is.
You know what I mean? Because nobody
that.
wants to be 38 and be like, oh, yeah. Like, it's like, yo, square. That's even more lame.
Yeah.
If you don't lean into being Unk, then you live long enough to see yourself be the cringe try hard, yo.
Yeah, like I'm just, I mean, I like what I like. I still love a lot of new stuff. I got, I listen to a lot of new music. I listen to a lot of older music nowadays.
For
But
sure.
I went through a period where I didn't listen to any of the older stuff. I was listening to all just new, different stuff for a long, long time. And then I don't know what happened. I was like, man, music's kind of stale right now. Let me go back and listen to some like older stuff. Or I think I went to a 50 Cent show too at one point, and that got me going like, oh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening to Get Rich or Die Trying, and I'm like, oh, then it goes into an old Kanye album, then it goes into an old Jeezy album, and then it's like this chain reaction. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot all about these songs that are so good and so timeless. Like they make you feel a certain way. And I know that, like, to go back to that point too of the output is so high, there's so many artists. There are still a lot of timeless artists that are out right now. Like you got in the rap scene, I mean, you got people like J. Cole, Russ, now Doechii, like Kendrick. There's a lot of Kendrick made a lot of timeless music.
Kendrick made a lot of timeless music that went under the radar too.
A lot, bro.
Like when certain albums of his came out, people didn't realize like how important and how dope it actually was, and then it became massively influential. Like To Pimp a Butterfly was like a great album when it came out. People didn't like really get it, but now I feel like I shouldn't say people, but like some people didn't really get it. And now I think that a lot of people will look at that album and be like, yeah, that's a massively influential album. Same thing with like Kanye stuff. You know, before Kanye was getting into like dumbass shit instead of making good ass music, he was like pioneering stuff and doing stuff that people weren't going to be doing for another like 2 years at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Taking the snare drum out of the beat, rapping over some type of Japanese drums and auto
Pharrell and Timbaland and you got I mean, we're from an era. You're younger than I am, but like we're in this weird in between, like where when I started making beats, it's now 21, 22 years ago, where FL was around, but FL was on the, you know, on the startup pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So I was an outcast as far as like ways to make music at that time.
Right.
Everybody else was making music totally different ways, mostly MPC, like all the stuff with, you know, the Tomorrow brand and every time you see an old breakdown, it's like they're breaking down records, they're sampling, they're using MPC or they're using the what is it? What's the other machine?
The Machine?
No, the older one, SRT.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know.
But there's a couple of machines. Another one that Juicy J uses too. He still uses it to this day.
Yeah, I saw Juicy J in the studio with the theremin the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was like one of them old synthesizers. You can't even like, it's really hard to play like a melody on it because you just like take your hand and float above the theremin and it makes like notes because of like how it is. I don't know. But that's a dude that is in the studio trying shit out.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? And he's Unk. He's Unk. Respectfully, he's Unk.
And he's got like a whole bunch of beats on Wiz Khalifa's new album.
And he's the man. You know what I mean?
Pushing Orange Juice too. That's good. Like,
because I think he's showing up. That's what that's what I think is like the people like Kendrick and J. Cole and all that, like they show up to do the craft. Like the craft is for them, like the writing and all that, and like they're in the studio and they're like dedicating the time to like making something like poignant, you know what I mean by that, like where it's like it's got like its own purpose to it and all that. And I think that mainstream media will fool you into thinking that that's some Unk shit, when in actuality that's like artists that are like standing on their own craft instead of being like pundits for, you know, Pepsi or Coca-Cola or whoever. You know what I mean? Like they're really about like the craft and the artistry.
I think we're at a turning point with music.
Yeah.
Now or in the next few years where everybody's gonna realize that. Where there's a lot of music that came out that's cool for the moment, but
a lot of shit is trash.
It's gonna like styles come back.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Obviously the style's not gonna be the same as the 2000s, but certain elements of the reasons that music hit so hard and did so well and made people feel a certain type of way, that is gonna come back.
Yeah, I see it all the time where people are like just, you know, kind of fed up with a lot of the sonics kind of sounding the same.
Yeah.
And
that's always the biggest thing. Everything sounds the same.
Things sound the same, and people are very like influenced by a lot of the same like tempos and vibes and things like that. And the people that are the tastemakers are tired of it. You know what I mean? Like these aren't even people that I follow. They're just random people on like online and stuff that'll be like, we need to get back to lyrics. We need to get it back to bars and things like that. Which I think that's totally valid. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta get back to like actually caring about making music type shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because there's companies like Suno that want to tell you that like, oh, making music's not even that good. Like you just want the finished product, right? It's like, no.
I mean, because you got people like Kendrick, and I keep saying Doechii because she's just so new and so refreshing. That's that type of sound where you can have some like gritty rap, but from the same artist, a song like Anxiety that's like really pop. And I mean, it has some rap elements, but it's just a huge song.
Yeah.
Being a remake from 6 years ago, literally.
Yeah.
When she wasn't even big yet. She wasn't even really known that well yet.
Right.
She probably had her core fan base
and she cares. She cares about her
but
craft.
she loves the craft.
Yeah.
She's obsessed with it. You can tell that every day and every thought goes into her music and her art and her brand and everything. And the same thing with Kendrick. There's certain artists that are timeless. There's still a handful of them. But this is what I was gonna say earlier. Maybe we can end with this. But I feel like there's just so many artists now, but there's this probably the same amount of, this is just a weird theory. There's probably the same amount of like timeless music and timeless artists, but the fact that there's so much output and there's so many artists and there's so much music, so many songs being out there, that it seems like it's overtowering.
Yeah, for sure.
The songs that sound the same versus the timeless music.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
There's definitely like just as many really talented and focused artists that like are gonna stand the test of time. But yeah, we're seeing way more of the trash because I mean it's the same thing with
there's
like
more of everything.
Yeah, there's not more murders happening across the world. You're just seeing more of it on
actually less.
social media.
There's actually less.
Yeah.
Like when you go by that theory, it's just social media makes you see everything.
Right.
Yeah, I've had that conversation. I totally
sure.
agree. But yeah, we can wrap it up. A little bit of technical difficulties in this one, but we got through
couple
some
of
news.
unks.
Couple of unks talking unk shit. But yo, if you haven't already, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and as always, share this with a friend if you get me.